I'm certainly not the first person to talk about the Pope's failing health, and and I think it's worth suggesting that this is the twilight of his papacy, marked by ill health, by doctrinal controversies, by political intrigue within the Vatican. After 12 years exactly today, the first Jesuit pope has cemented a complex and divisive legacy, one that will shape the conclave of his successor and possibly, if one believes the ancient prophecies, usher in the final pontificate of the Church. Pope Francis, elected in 2013, entered office as a disruptor. His populist charm and the rejection of papal grandeur, eschewing the red shoes and the palatial apartments, endeared him to many. However, his reign has been marked by profound tensions between liberal and conservative factions within the Church, and he's emphasized social justice, environmental stewardship, and a criticism of global capitalism. Yet his papacy has also been plagued by scandals, particularly his handling of sexual abuse cases, most notably his opaque response to allegations against high-ranking clerics like Marco Rupnik and Gustavo Zanchetta. His motu proprios, issued at an unprecedented rate, have radically reshaped church governance, often to the chagrin of traditionalists who accuse him of authoritarianism. And his restrictions on the Latin Mass, his fiducia supplicans declaration allowing non-liturgical blessings of same-sex couples, and his restructuring of the Curia have left many conservative Catholics embittered. Meanwhile, his selective enforcement of reforms has frustrated liberals. The Vatican today is as polarized as the wider world. And with Francis increasingly frail, the inevitable conclave is quietly being prepared, and while he has appointed the majority of the College of Cardinals, his ideological stacking of the deck has not been as thorough as he might have hoped. Many of his appointees come from non-Western peripheries where theological conservatism remains strong. The African and Asian cardinals, for example, many of whom were startled by fiducia supplicans, could form a significant voting bloc against a progressive successor. There are 7 leading candidates at the moment, 2, I think, from Italy, Cardinal Pietro Parodin, the Vatican Secretary of State, and Cardinal Matteo Zuppi. Then there's Cardinal Peter Erdo from Hungary, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, who seems to be a firm favourite. His diplomatic acumen in the Middle East makes him a compelling candidate, though unlikely because of his lack of curial experience. Cardinal William Goh in Singapore, Cardinal Charles Mangbo in Myanmar, and Cardinal Yo Hyun-sik in South Korea, a convert with dynamic vision, though his ties to Francis might make him unpalatable to those seeking a course correction. For those with an apocalyptic bent, the prophecies of St. Malachi suggest that the next pope could be the Petrus Romanus, the last pope before Rome's destruction. And additionally, the fresco series in St. Paul's Outside the Walls is running out of portrait space, a practical if not a prophetic dilemma. And while the Church has weathered millennia of crises, its current fractures are deep, and if the next pope fails to bridge the widening chasm between tradition and modernity, disillusionment will hasten decline. The conclave will not simply elect a leader, but determine whether the Catholic Church remains a unified institution or splinters under the weight of ideological warfare. One thing is certain: the Vatican's legendary intrigue is far from over. The cardinals may soon gather beneath Michelangelo's Last Judgment, casting ballots that could shape not only the Church's future, but perhaps its very survival.